it's Rhonda. I am here today to walk you through some of the cards and projects that go along with the optional classes that I offered during my retreat this October. So we're going to start with the first class called A Little Bit Festive. And so I am an independent demonstrator in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Just celebrated 27 years with Stampin' Up! And I can't imagine not stamping. So let's go ahead and get you started. You can find me at INKinAllNight.com. I have a Facebook page, which is INKin All Night. I have a customer Facebook group, and that one is called INKin with Rhonda. So I hope you'll give me a shot, follow along, and here we go with the projects for the first optional class. The optional class came out of the mini catalog, so this is the new September to December one, and the products that we're featuring for this first class is the Designer Series paper here, and it is a fun pack that has 3 double-sided sheets of cardstock, or of DSP, sorry, and then there's this panel here that has basically, like, if we bring this in a little closer, you can see that this top sheet here, if I can get that close enough, it has basically like 6 4x6 panels that will pop up, and they're a little different in size. I'm just saying 4x6 for rough estimate. So you get those 6, plus you get this long 12-inch strip here of that stripe. That's a sheet. And then you have 2 sheets here that are pre-printed die cuts. So they're referenced in my tutorials, find the coordinating printed die cut. So those are going to be already stamped. They're already perforated. You're just going to pop all those out. My recommendation in my PDF is that you go ahead and separate these to start. And then you're going to go ahead and just separate all of these into a little plate, a little dish. Don't put it down in a cello bag yet because you're going to constantly be reaching in and out. So have it on a little something that you can kind of poke through and find what you're looking for. And then we have these 2-sided patterns here. This does kind of play a little bit of a mind game with the trees, but if you look, what you want to look for is to stare at the green. And you want the green to be facing like up and down, because it does visually, like obviously the green, have the smaller tip pointing up and the wider base of the triangle facing down, and that is your tree shape. But when you first look at it, what you really can notice is all the white, and then you want to turn it around, and then your green trees are actually upside down. So in my cards, I went ahead and did a 4x12-inch strip, cut through all 3 of these pieces. And what you do want is to make sure that you look at the orientation, and I tell you which way to face the sheets. And I've done cards in design so that you can see the front and the flip side of each of the patterns, so that if you use this class in your business, if you're a demonstrator, that you can show them kind of like what this kit really entails. So again, that's a Little Bit Festive. DSP is one of the main things. $10, you get all of that. Everybody got the full pack because obviously, there's not a good way to distribute these. So at $10, it's totally worth it. I cut these basically by 4x6. I did not cut for envelopes this time because I felt like you might want to maximize the amount of your DSP since you're limited to 1 sheet of each to make all cards. So I think I got, I did a card with each side, so there's like 2. So you could get 6 times 3. You could get 18 cards here, plus, I gave you white, thick, basic white cut and scored in half. Then you have another 6 cards here. So if you have 6 per sheet, that's 18, plus another 6, 24. So you could easily probably get a full 24 sheets or 24 cards out of this $10 pack. Plus you have all of these elements to, scooch, like just dive in and, use them throughout. So there are some other products, but we didn't use that. We used this. And so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of slide that to the side, and I'm just going to do a walkthrough, so hopefully these will be zoomed in. Let me see if I can, I'm trying to see if I can tap that camera to zoom in a little bit. Let's see, that might be a little too far. Let's do something like that. How's that? Okay. So there we go. It might be still a little too much, but we'll try to leave it alone. Okay, so this first card, again, like I said, I gave you all of the white basic white thick cards and envelopes scored in half for traditional, and I tried to keep these cards, you'll notice, a little bit thinner so that they're ready to mail. So we have our basic white, we've adhered our DSP. Then we've got a white panel here that gets layered over. This is basic white cardstock. I've given you the panel. And you're going to go ahead and stamp your "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year." And then you're going to pop up your tree. We tied a knot with the ribbon, and then we've added our gold iridescent bling, the iridescent foiled gems. So this, it tells you to cut like a 4 by 12, and so then you'll cut this to like the 4 by 6. This one happens to be 5 1/4, which leaves you that 3/4 inch strip for the inside. Okay, so you'll see that kind of repeated. It makes for easy cutting for you if you're trying to crank out Christmas cards. You know, but they're super cute. You've got the gold foil, you know, and flecks in here, which, you know, like pulls for the bling, and you've got the gold and red polka dotted ribbon. That brings in the real red from the card and the gold, so that's how I picked that. So that's number one. We're just going to go through quick. This is a pretty basic card, and that's off the blues. So we'll set it to the side. The other half of that blue DSP is going to be this print. Kind of a busy print, but they've got some really pretty elements. So again, this is from that other side of the navy gingham. So you're gonna have it is mounted to a layer of basic white. So you have a panel here. So you're gonna adhere that to here. You're gonna wrap your ribbon around, and then I believe this one did get mounted flat to the card base. And then you've got, I used all like stylish shapes, so they went with a die cut that if you wanted to recreate, it's probably one of the favorite die cuts with basic shapes. So I gave the die cut because I wanted to be able to put the greeting, but I also wanted to create a little bit of heft. And this one does come out and the inside punches out, so it's just the thin, you know, like die cut paper here. These are adhered flat, like the tutorial will tell you. And then we've got a little snippet of ribbon here. This ribbon's not included in this class, but because this was an optional class to my retreat, you were gifted this ribbon at the retreat, so you'll just pull from that stash, okay? And then we've got, you know, a little banner die cut here. We've got a couple here, back behind here. That's where the sprig is, okay? So you're gonna loop this little piece of ribbon. It tells you between the sprigs and the ornament, and it just brings a little more oomph to the wreath. Again, you're gonna layer that on. This is cut probably a little smaller because this is the 4 1/4 or 4 by 5 1/4. So this is probably, my guess is 3 3/4 by 5. So probably before this panel got cut down, I cut this strip. So again, you have that little, you know, it's the paper's there, you might as well use it for something. So it just kind of brings the outside to the inside. And then you've got your gems and blings. And there is your little walkthrough of this card. Okay, so that was the blue gingham side, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll switch to the red stripes. So we'll get this ready. Let me see if that'll fit in there. Let me just vertical, so we'll go ahead and go like that. So anyhow, this one we've got our 4 by 5 1/4 to the front, which left us that little 3/4 strip here for the inside. Makes really easy cutting. It uses all the pieces so you don't have a little bit of, you know, scraps left over. And then on here we've got the small circle from Stylish Shapes, and you're going to just put your greeting of choice on there. You're going to pop it up onto the red deckled circle, and then that lays flat onto this circular wreath. Then here what we have is 2 little strips of the red ribbon, the polka dotted ribbon. So you want to cut it into 2 because you want both sides to lay flat with that pretty, you know, side. You don't want to have one. If you just cut a, you know, little longer strip and fold it in half, you know, one of these would lay with the back side of the ribbon showing. So I've just cut it into 2 and then have those, though. These are adhered flush to the DSP under here. So circle, dimensional to the red, flat to the wreath, then dimensional to the card base, okay? So you have your Merry Christmas, and then on the inside, we just added a little holly berry. And I did not take inside photos for the tutorials. I just have the full size and then the featured, the close-up. So this is the other side of the red stripe. You get this ornament pattern, which is beautiful, but you do want to pay attention because when you look at it, the ornaments actually have like a top side, or like you can see like the little hanger and the little metal hook. So you want to make sure that this pattern is going, you know, straight up and down, because this turns into, I think, a 4x4 piece of paper when it gets added. So you're going to add this over top of this strip, then put this, you know, ribbon around, tie the knot, and then that panel gets mounted to the card. And then here, one of them uses the small circle and the large. So these were the two circles, the small die cut circle and the large. Then this, I believe, is the small square, and we'll have the large square coming up. So standard shapes, basic white. You're gonna stamp your greeting, wishing you. Then this is mounted flat, again, because of mailing. And you add this. To me, I felt like when you just stuck this down, you needed something to kind of anchor, and you needed a place to stick your greeting. So you'll see that throughout. That's one of the tips. And then it's like wishing you a Merry Christmas. I kept this really simple. All of my greetings are from the one Greetings of the Season set, and they are all in Memento Black. You could, if you wanted to go with the colors of the DSP, you could bring in your real reds and your greens and your blues and, you know, go to town and have a whole bunch of pretty colors. But again, I'm thinking Christmas, I'm thinking maximize, I'm thinking quick, I'm thinking get these ready so that I can get them mailed out. So, and if you're providing the class, it's just really easy because everybody just needs their greeting set and they need just a black ink pad. So anyhow, that's what we have there. Okay. And again, because I overlapped these two pieces, there is not a strip for the inside because these two are overlapped. In order to be able to wrap the ribbon around, you kind of wanted to connect this, but it's flip sides of the paper, so you had to overlap one over the other. So that'll make sense when you're doing it. So again, that is the second piece of paper. The third piece of paper is the trees. So here we again had our 4x6 inch piece, and we've cut to 4x5 1/4, which leaves us that 3/4 inch strip for the inside. Again, here our paper is just mounted flat to the card. We have the large square here where I did the Mary on the little banner, again out of the same die, the die set. So you've got the Mary on there, and then you've got the Christmas here. And then what I did was I kind of mounted my frames or my gifts to go around this Merry Christmas, the square. And then the bear, he is tucked in behind. So he's in here behind the packages, except when I went to put his head on, or not put his head on, when I mounted him on the head, I pulled it forward. So kind of like he's a little bit tucked behind, but yet he's leaning forward. Sorry, got that a little off camera there. So again, 2 of these die cuts out of your printed die cut packet. We choose the ribbon here to show just a different way, a small, you know, like strip of ribbon tied into a bow. And then you just, to get this so that it lays both this way, you just have to turn these tails as you pull them through the knot and just secure and keep turning, and then you can get it to where you have like both nice sides of the ribbon facing up on your bow. And again, just decorate with those bling. You've got plenty of bling. I love that it mimics like the little polka dots in here. You've got your gold foiling, which pulls the ribbon out, and you could put inside outside greetings on these if you wanted. So that's the front side of the green and white trees. The back side of that pattern is going to be this red. I don't know if it's an ornament, but it's kind of like a circular. I'll only show you on the inside, I believe. This is the print. So we've got, you know, kind of like an ornament. I'm not sure what, it's just round. It's not a berry, but anyhow, again, we've got that standard kind of 4x5 1/4 here, which makes your cutting really easy. You could cut for all of these cards at once. And then you've got your coordinating, you know, strip for the inside. If you wanted, you could mix these up and you could put whatever, you know, pattern on the inside that you wanted. So then this and the next card are going to introduce panels that are from that, where you get the 6 panels per the one sheet. So this is a panel and it comes with this frame. It also has the white inside of the frame that pops out. And so you can see, like, kind of, if I can peek down in here, you can see that I've used, you know, like this die cut that came straight out of the inside of this frame. So the frame is up on dimensionals. The white part that popped out of the frame is recessed flat to the DSP in the back here. And I've just stamped my Happy Holidays. And what I did was kind of eyeball where my stockings were going to be hung so that I could make sure my greeting was scooted down enough that it filled kind of that open space. And so again, you've got your little embellishment here. This is up on mini dimensionals. And then you've got the white that's here flush, and then you've got the frame that is popped up. So hopefully this gives you kind of a peek of where, you know, like you kind of hide your dimensionals and whatnot. Okay, so that is one of those. I'm going to call them the panel, like the little sheet that had the 6 panels on it. So that I wanted to show you how to use one. This is a frame. I wanted to show you how to use the inside. But you also got to create the dimension by, you know, varying the heights. And then this is probably one of my favorite cards that had to do the least amount too. So it is, the panel is the to you and you, or the panel is the ornaments. We've stamped the greeting. My choice was to you and yours. May your holiday season be filled with the warmth and cheerful celebration. I just thought that that was a beautiful inside one. Plus, just get to write love, Rhonda and Dave and Henry. So anyway, you could choose whatever you wanted to go on the outside. Again, you could choose your colors. This, I am not 100% positive. Let me just, maybe I have a ruler somewhere near here. So this panel, okay, looks like it was cut to 3 3/4, probably by 5, because that's our standard. Okay, so this panel was trimmed to 3 3/4 by 5, which probably means that the red is, okay, so it does look like maybe this red is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. You could easily, if you wanted, make this be the standard 4 by 5 1/4, but I probably did it because we were wrapping the ribbon around and I tucked it tight, so it gave you just the smidge of that color. So anyhow, and then the ribbon just went around, tied in a knot, and you know, secure it under the bow with a mini glue dot, okay? And then that is popped up to the card with dimensionals. And I mean, you just literally have your greeting of choice adhered flat to cardstock, wrapped with ribbon, tied in a knot, no bow, just the knot, because hopefully maybe the knot will, you know, like fit a little flatter going through the mail. And then we just decorated, and I went kind of inside and outside my ornaments to kind of bring your eye, you know, like through the card, because that's where the trail of the bling kind of goes. And then you just have the simple greeting on the inside. So that uses two of the panel cards. We've got 2 of each front back side of the DSP. And then I wanted to show you just a simple, this is one where I took elements from our die cut pouch stack and then just brought in my own cardstock. So on this card, we are going to have a, I think again, this is probably, looks like 3 7/8, and then this is probably 5 1/8, yes. And then that will be layered on a standard 4 by 5 1/4 of the pool party, okay? So basic white card, folded in half, 4 by 5 1/4, and then came down 1/8 of an inch. On this white, you've stamped a greeting. This was really, really hard for me to do something this simple, but I wanted to show you that this simple is still really pretty. It's prettier in person. You could also come in here and add some Wink of Stella. I just wanted to show you like how cute this card could be. So I grabbed the element, which is this. This is, I think I called it the trees on the snowbank. So like you have these 2 trees and this trail. This is a separate die cut, which is the big tree. Then you have this, which is a separate die cut, which is the small tree. So I put this up with dimensionals, and then so that I could figure out where it was going to go. Then, and I laid it out first to kind of figure out where did I want my greeting to kind of rest as a focal point. So like this was placed but not adhered when I stamped my greeting. So anyway, the raised snowbank you know, then we created a space, put in the big tree, but then I wanted to anchor it so you didn't have this, just this little trail of DSP over here with nothing. So I brought the small tree over here. It is flush at the bottom, but the rest of this is raised with dimensional. And then you've just scattered some bling in there to make it kind of look like snow. I did not wink a Stella, but you could wink a Stella. I also did not do the snowflake embossing folder over this. You could have. I could have done this on a Greetings of the Seasons like oval or a different tag die shape. This also, because we paired with the red and gold ribbon, does not have ribbon on this card. I also wanted to show you that you could do them without that if you wanted. But it also shows you like very easily how to bring in a little bit of your own cardstock to create layers and cards. Because I think you will need some of that, like once you exceed, you know, having all of the DSP used up. So, but really simple, you know, straightforward cuts, easy to get done. And then you could add, you know, a die cut to the inside. This one, I just felt like this pool party and the little, you know, wreath or the little swag was just really cute, and it tied into the color scheme of these little, you know, pool party in the background evergreen trees. I thought that just kind of coordinated nicely. So pick whatever you like. Anyway, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know where else to go. 7. You can't even see them all. 8 cards. So let me see if I can. So that kind of shows you there a little bit, the 8 cards. So, and then you did notice that you got 10 card bases and 10 envelopes. And that was so that when you got these done, you could decide, what do I want to do? And hopefully you were in the mood that you would be like looking at the other ones like, oh, I didn't use the drums. No, I left you some of the cute ones that I wanted to use. It would be no fun to like me give you this and me take all my favorites out of it. So I wanted to kind of show you a mix of some standalones, you know, how do you mix a few pieces together, you know, those kind of things. So anyway, thank you for joining me.